First video we're doing today, there's a lot of people that just swing with their arms. They don't know how to use the ground, and in order to do that, you need to strengthen the glutes. People don't have enough lower body engagement. You'll lose distance off the tee when that's the case, and you'll sway a lot right or left, right when you're taking the club away, to the left when you're coming back down at impact. So what we're going to show you is some exercises for glute activation, lengthening your hip flexor. That way you can get more power and use the ground better and also gain some more consistency.
So exercise number 1 is going to be a glute bridge. So for this exercise, I'm actually going to ask her to do is show me your pelvic tilt. So can you go through anterior and posterior? So that's a posterior tilt, and that's anterior. So she's basically smashing her low back into the ground, and then she's also lifting it away. This is helping to mobilize her pelvis, okay? And this is important for the bridge component. So making sure that you have at least a 90-degree angle at the knee joint. So Sue, walk your feet like a half a foot step away. Good, okay? She's going to have her arms all the way down by her side, okay? She's going to take a nice exhalation to set the core so she can feel some of that core strength working too. And then she's going to tilt the pelvis. So she's going to bring pubic bone towards the belly button, which is a posterior tilt. And by pressing through her hands, arms, and feet, she's going to come into a bridge. Now, the way I would recommend doing this is hold static on your first repetition. Count to 10 in your head. Make sure you're still breathing and that you didn't hold your breath. And then she's going to come back down, and she can perform 10 more repetitions, maybe even 20. Sometimes the better goal is to think about tempo and speed. The slower you go, the more you're going to create that connection from your brain to body. So that's actually going to help you not only strengthen the glutes, like we were talking about before, for power and more distance off the tee, but it's also going to help to stretch out the hip flexors. Our second exercise is going to be what's called a classic hip flexor stretch. So Sue's going to come for this half-kneeling hip flexor stretch. Again, we're looking to get more length through the front of the hip, even down the femur bone, and we're actually looking to create tension or shortening on the exact opposite side. Okay? So what I'm going to have Sue do is, number 1, let's move through those tilts again. Same tilts we did on the back, anterior to posterior, posterior to anterior. So she's just kind of getting a better sensor feel. This helps you figure out how to have that sensory motor feedback. She can feel her glute engage when she thinks about that actively pulling her tailbone underneath or bringing the pubic bone that's in front towards the belly button. So if I said hump the front, right? So you want to drive into that posterior tuck. That's going to give you a stretch altogether. Now we can increase that stretch sensation by adding in the upper body component. So Sue, I'm going to have you take your hand down by your side on the right, turn your palm to face out, thumb pointing away, and then you're going to reach overhead, and then I want you to flex or extend, at the wrist like you're holding a tray, like you're a waitress, okay? What that's going to do is actually start to lengthen not only through this, but also through the core line and wrap around through getting some length through the shoulder. So we're almost hitting 2 birds with 1 stone.
So you can really feel that all the way from the ground where my knee is up through the heel of my hand.
Let's do one more. We can show them from the side what this looks like. I think that's also good when we look at it from the side, because again, you can understand this sort of forward to backward movement. So it's not a lateral side to side, but rather front to back, posterior, anterior. Sue wants to maintain her hip and her knee in a vertical alignment, a vertical stack. So those 2 joints are stacked one right out of the other. Okay? The other thing is I would just cue her to bring this left foot forward a little bit to make sure that the knee and the ankle are also in a vertical stack here. Okay? And again, we're going to go for this arm reach. Now, if you have the mobility, it's also going to help you. So let's tuck, yep. And if I said, Sue, push down through your foot, the more she pushes once again through her foot, that's going to encourage her hip extension, which is going to encourage the stretching or lengthening through the front of that thigh. And again, you can be here for anywhere from 30 seconds to a full minute before you complete it on the other side.